Hi, this is Olajide from CTF Security and welcome to another video in the 2023 NahamCon Capture the Flag Security Challenges. Today we have an exciting challenge called Flow. It's a mind-bending puzzle quiz that will put your problem-solving skill to the test. But here's the twist. It incorporates client-side validation to make things even more interesting. In this challenge, you will navigate through 3 layers of AWS flow diagrams, making clickable selections and providing answers to various questions. Your goal is to identify the correct element and choose the right answers to unlock the next level of the puzzle. You're expected to click on different elements of the flow diagram, each representing a potential solution. As you select the options, the client-side validation ensures you make the correct choices. With client-side validation, the puzzle dynamically responds to your selections, verifying if they align with the predetermined correct answers. Now think of it as a race against time as you navigate through the challenge, especially if you are new to AWS services like me. But fear not, our problem-solving skills, attention to details, and quick thinking will be our greatest allies. So without further ado, let's get started. So welcome back to the challenge. As you can see, the author of this challenge is the project circuit breaker, and we have some information about this challenge. It says Intel project circuit breaker was kind enough to provide their own challenge. Connect here and capture the flag after solving 3 puzzles. Now we're expected to solve 3 puzzles in this challenge, and it further says today we have 3 open source AWS architecture diagram for you to inspect and see if you can spot the flaw. Each diagram has at least one element that doesn't belong. Spot the flaw and identify what system is designed to do, and you will solve the game. Now we know that we are expected to do 2 things: spot the flaw by identifying at least one element that doesn't belong in the diagram and identifying what the system is designed to do. What we're going to do without wasting time is to right click on the link and open on the new tab. Now we get our interface here with a hint. For best experience, please view on a larger screen. Now if you try to use a smaller screen, you can see what happened to the page. So instead, I will just view this on a larger screen and scroll down right here. So we have the information we have on the previous page. So we'll just go ahead and click on Let's Go. Great. So now we have our AWS architecture diagram, and you can see you can click on each of the elements. Now on this first puzzle, we're expected to answer 2 questions, and if you scroll down right here, we have the 2 questions. The first one is saying what is the service this system is providing. So we're expected to select what service the system is providing out of the options right here. And the second question is saying which components don't belong. So select the components in the flow diagram that do not belong, then click the continue button to see if your answer to the quiz are correct. So I'm going to scroll up. So let's say we feel the Amazon CloudFront is not supposed to be on this architecture. So I'm just going to select Amazon CloudFront and scroll down. And let's just pick a random answer right here. So I'm going to click software installer download library and I'll click submit. Now we get, oops, that wasn't quite right, meaning both answers that we supply are wrong. Now I know what you're thinking. Let's hack this, right? So now what we can think of is let's try to find out how this program is validating its answers. So what I can do is to right click and go to inspect. So I'm looking for the JavaScript code for this page. So I'm going to scroll up. Okay, scroll up. So I can see one right here. Script ID project circuit breaker flow puzzle.js. That sounds interesting, right? So what I can do is to, can I grab that? right click, copy, and I can just put this on a new page. So this looks like the JavaScript code for the project circuit breaker puzzle challenge. So I'm looking for where there's some form of validation in this program. So let's start from here. You can see we have iterate overflow diagram, selectable item to make clickable, and add correct answer to the correct answers array. And we have some variable declarations. We have some conditional statements, selecting each of the puzzle. You can see if active puzzle equals to 1, what block of code will be executed. And we also have if active puzzle is 2, if active puzzle is 3. That is for the 3 challenge. Now, what we can see from this block of code is that from the first active puzzle, we have if element equals to AWS convert. Now, if I go to our challenge, let's close this right here, and I scroll up to the diagram. So we have one element called AWS elemental media convert. So I'm just going to select it, and let's deselect this, and let's go back. We know that this might mean something, but we don't know if it's actually the answer. So let's continue to review our code. And you can see that this is for the puzzle 2, and this one is for the puzzle 3. So I'm going to scroll down. So let's go and see if we have something meaningful. Now we have another comment right here: validate answer on form submit. If you look at this part, and it says if active puzzle equals to 1. Now that is where we set our first active puzzle right here. If you noticed, let's go back, and it says and Q1 selected value equals to OTT video streaming. So the Q1 is for the first question, and the Q2 is for the second question. So if Q1 is OTT video streaming, and Q1 selected value equals to data warehouse, that is for the second puzzle, and active puzzle 3, Q1 selected value is WordPress hosting. So let's scroll down. So what will happen if these conditions are met? Then it will set Q1 to correct and Q1 class list to correct. Okay, so now that we know that this condition is testing for the answers, and we have each value for the Q1 and Q2 assigned to it in the conditional statement right here. So I can move to our challenge and say if the first puzzle is set to 1, and we have the element to be AWS element convert, I'll select it. The second answer, which is the Q1, so let's just pick that again. If Q1 is equals to OTT video streaming, so I'll just click on the OTT video streaming, and I can submit the answer. So you can see that we've passed through that stage, and it says you answered correctly. Whoa. And click on this button to continue to the next stage of the puzzle. So now that we know that this program is using client-side validation, so we can just use the same technique to solve this second puzzle, which happens to be more complex than the first one. So again, I'll still go back to my JavaScript code, and for the second puzzle, Q1, that is if active puzzle is equals to 2, which is the second puzzle, Q1 selected value is equals to enterprise data house, and we pipe this into active. Okay, this is for active puzzle 3. So we are selecting enterprise data warehouse for the Q1, and for the Q2, let's go back to the Q2. For the Q2 correct answers, we are selecting the VPC NAT gateway and the Bastion host. So I'll just add, and we're looking for the Bastion host and the VPC NAT gateway, and we're selecting our Q1 to be enterprise data warehouse. I'll just click on submit. Great. That was correct. Another diagram down, one more to go. You can do this. So let's click continue to see the last puzzle we're expected to solve. Okay, this is more even complex. Let's see, what is the service this system is providing, and we have which components don't belong. So I'll head to my JavaScript code once more. So let's see what the Q3, the active puzzle 3 is saying. And the active puzzle 3 says, okay, this is it right here. If active puzzle 3 equals to 3, then we have our element ID to be Bastion and the SSH service. So I'm going to add here and I'm selecting. So I'll head to the diagram and I'm selecting Bastion and the SSH service right here. So let's head back and see what the Q1 is actually saying. If the active puzzle equals to 3, Q1 selected value equals to WordPress hosting. So we're selecting WordPress hosting as answer for the first question. WordPress hosting, and I'm going to click on submit. And you can see this was correct. Nailed it, and now you may claim your victory. So I'm going to click on continue. We're heading for our flag right now. So we're expected to fill this form. Thank you to the AWS sample GitHub project for this reference architecture model that we used. So we're expected to give it a name. So I'll just give it root. Just a random name, and I'll give it an email address. Okay, good. So we have our flag for the puzzle to be this. I'll just grab our flag and we'll head to the challenge dashboard, and we're going to paste our flag right here and submit. And we get you already solved this challenge. So it's that easy. We can see that this challenge is so easy to get because the program is actually using a client-side validation. So it's actually a poor means of validating quiz websites. So to enhance security, it is always recommended that you consider some security practices. And one of these security practices is server-side validation. It is a situation whereby you perform server-side validation on answers to ensure that only valid and expected answers are accepted. Client-side validation can be easily bypassed, so server-side validation is essential for a robust solution. Another consideration that we can take is dynamic answer generation. So instead of hard coding correct answers in the client-side code, consider generating the correct answers dynamically on the server and sending them to the client in a secure manner. So in this way, the correct answers are not exposed on the client-side application. Just like we can see that every correct answer can be found on our JavaScript code that we have on this page. Another thing we can do is to apply code minification and obfuscation. So we can minify and obfuscate the JavaScript code to make it more difficult for attacker to understand and analyze the logic behind the correct answer. Now, code minification and obfuscation might not totally eradicate the issue of client-side validation, but it can make the code complex and hard to read by attackers. So guys, that will be all in this video. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. See you in the next video.